Hello everybody, welcome to another recorded game analysis with me, Nobody. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a very exciting game between myself, playing as the Berbers, and my opponent, CN Burns, playing as the Indians on Rise of Rajas. The ability to analyze a recorded game is a very important skill, which is why I like to do some of these, as well as try to understand why I won or lost the game, to help myself improve as a player. Hopefully through the series, newer players will be able to both understand why a player may win or lose a game, what kind of decisions could have been better, and hopefully learn to analyze recorded games themselves. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing that I take notice of is my civ, of course. I am playing as the Berbers, one of the African kingdom civilizations. Villagers move faster, stable units cost -10 and 15 and 20% in the Imperial Age. My unique unit is the Camel Archer. I have some unique techs which are kind of useful, more so in team games, so I'm not really going to mention those. And I have the Genotaur as my unique unit. No Arbalest for me. No Halberdier, which is actually very important in this game. And my cavalry tends to fall off a little bit late game. But overall, very, very strong Castle Age, and Castle Age is where the strength of their civ comes in. They have no Feudal Age or Dark Age bonuses, and in Castle Age they get the reduced cost on their cavalry. So my game plan is going to revolve around Castle Age. My opponent, CN Burns, playing as the Indians, a Forgotten Empire civilization. They have a nice economy with villagers costing less, and their camels have +1/+1 pierce armor, although at the trade-off of no knights. Let's see. The unique tech, these probably won't come into play, although Shekgani might be able to. And this one's not that important. They get a full archer line, which is important, and also a full infantry line, although lacking one of the armor upgrades. But overall, their whole game plan basically revolves around archers and camels, as well as having a strong economy. So they should be stronger than my civ in the early game, and those camels could definitely be an asset to me. So just thinking about how the civ matchup can play out, I really want to be able to pressure him in Dark Age, pressure him in the Castle Age. And if not, then the rest of my strategy will be based off the map. So that's part of what makes my strategic decision as far as what I'm going to do in strategy. The other part is what my map looks like. What I've seen so far is that I have a forward gold, which means it's going to be very hard to defend for me this game. So I might be thinking of a more aggressive type strategy, so I don't have to worry about defending my gold as much. And apart from that, a little bit exposed berries. I'm looking at places where to wall. I can wall in through here, and wall in through here. This side is going to be extremely hard to wall, so again, a more aggressive type strategy. Let's take a look at CN Burns' map. There's one notable thing about his map, which I'm just about to scout. He's got a forward main gold, and 2 forward side golds. So that means if he loses his main gold, he's going to have a very hard time this game, and he might be left without this gold this game if I do manage to pressure this gold sufficiently. As well, his wood line is forward, or at least the one he's chosen. He does have a back wood line. So these are some weaknesses of his map. Let's see how this decides how this plays into his strategy. And right now I have 4 on wood. That's basically a barracks build, or a Dresh build. And I'm just going through standard builds. One of the nice things about the Berbers is they do move a little bit faster. So actually they take quite a bit less damage from the boar, as you can see. And it also makes them useful for forwarding because there's less idle time for the villagers to go forward. At this point I see he's walling heavily. So I'm kind of half expecting a fast castle strategy. And that's what I was fearing at this point. I'm trying to block his boar, and if I placed a palisade right here, that would have been a much better palisade. But I'm just eating up my food. I don't see any barracks from him. Although I've noticed 10 gold has been taken from his gold mine, which is making me think about Drush, and particularly Drush into Fast Castle combined with the walls. However, it looks like he's just taken the gold, and I don't see a barracks from him, so this threw me off a little bit. As well as threw him off, I'm sure. Anyway, there's my feudal age, and I'm going to send 3 villas forward. At this point, I'm suspecting Drush and see walls, so I'm hoping I can bypass his Drush and start to tower his gold, and take away his golds this game. Again, 1-2 golds forward. There you go, there's the barracks. And here's my first tower. He could have actually rushed this down with his villagers. 2 villagers is not enough. Here's the tower. Outpost to see what's going on. If he brought a few more villagers, he could have stopped this tower. And I'm going to start to mine gold so I can place more towers. He's gone into a scout rush, so he's adjusted his strategy most likely. Perhaps because he was too late on his barracks. I'm going to wall this tower in, because I know it is very important. It takes away his gold almost. Or is within range of it anyway. And since I see the stable, I'm going to build a few spearmen. First one's going to go forward to defend these villagers. And I'm going to try to break my way in through his base. In Rise of Rajas, buildings have reduced HP in the feudal age. He's going to build a counter tower. And this is going to be his only tower, so I'm going to build his tower to the left here. And that should be sufficient to take him off of his gold, which was my main goal in the strategy. These towers are barely outside of each other's range. Here comes his scouts. I know his scouts are coming because I've scouted the stable. And I've placed a few defensive spearmen because of this. Now I have 2 options here. Here comes the scout raid. He got a little bit lucky the spearman got caught up, so he is able to snag that villager. He's placing a tower in his woodline to try to defend his woodline, which is very smart by him, because it's definitely a target of mine. Anyway, as I was saying, I have 2 options here. I can either add archer ranges and really try to bust through these walls. But since I'm Berbers and I know I have such strong cavalry later on, I'm going to put in all my wood into these farms and try to click up as soon as possible. Here's the blacksmith, and I'm thinking about clicking up right after this blacksmith goes up. But I've actually made one critical error here, and I've forgotten my second building. I actually need a stable. So that's going to heavily delay me. And I started to build this mining camp, looked at my resources, decided a stable is more important for me to click up, rather than the wood invested into this mining camp. And there's the stable. So a little bit sloppy by me. This tower is just barely within range. I really want fletching so I can definitely hit these villagers, but I've waited until I clicked up because I wanted the food to go into those villagers. And there you go, there's fletching. Now with fletching, this tower can completely hit this gold. And it's a good thing in hindsight I didn't build that mining camp because he could have towered it, such as with this tower. So at this point, it looks like I have the advantage in the game. Sand Burns is clicking up to the next age as well. And I see... Never mind, he hasn't gotten bloodlines. No point in fighting this tower battle because I know he'll win it. And I'm sending these 3 villagers home, because there's nothing for them to do over here. If I build a mining camp here, it's going to be too exposed. So I'm going to be first up the Castle Age. I know he spent most of his stone on towers. And I'm gonna go with the town center to try to boost my economy. Meanwhile, he's got 2 stables, so he's gonna go full out into camels. I've built just a single camel to help defend from those scouts from earlier on. Or a few camels. And my main focus now is just my economy. I have a little bit of eco-management. I'm taking way too much gold at this point. I should be taking either wood or seeding farms with these villagers instead. And I see that he's upgraded to pikeman. This is another good sign for me, because it's more resources that he hasn't poured into his economy. Meanwhile, I'm really putting resources into my economy. And should be able to surpass him in villager numbers. Not much else is going on in this game. I'm just trying to build my economy as fast as possible, so I can start pumping out these camels. My camels are cheaper for the Berbers, but his camels do get more armor. Which, where are they? Here they are. 1 extra armor for them. Overall, I think my camels will definitely be stronger in the Castle Age with that extra armor. With the reduced cost, my bad. And another big mistake, I should have towered this gold. As you can see, he does have access to gold. So a single tower right in this area, or right over here, would have been useful. In fact, it could have changed the course of this game. He's starting to mass up his camels a bit. I'm just trying to distract him with them, because I don't want him to raid me, such as at my wood line. And I'm going to try to get up some walls, because again, don't want to be raided. I am now up to 4 town centers. He is up to 3 town centers, so I am out booming him. And this was my first critical mistake of this game. If you're not sure why it's a critical mistake, you'll see later on, but I'm going to actually switch into pikemen instead of continuing with camel production. There's quite a few reasons why this decision really bit me later on. For one, I hadn't checked the tech tree, and the Berbers don't get housed, so camels are already going to be a more effective counter to camels. Second, it doesn't play to my civ strength with my civ bonuses because the camels do get a reduced cost for my civilization. And third, camels are much more effective at countering cavalry due to that increased movement speed. And all 3 of those reasons really bit me later on in the game. So he's ready to claim control of his gold. He's got a good boom going himself. I think he's slightly behind from where I am. And I've clicked up to the next age with plenty of gold in the bank. I don't have a lot of gold miners at this point because I'm thinking about just going into pikemen. And here they come. So I'm going to make a mixed army of what I think is going to be pikemen to counter out his camels. Some hand cannons to just help round out the unit composition, give it some good damage. And some siege. And here my pikemen go out. I don't mind if I lose a few, so that's kind of why I stream them. But now that they're massed up, camels won't be able to handle them at all. And this is where I noticed I didn't get the Halb upgrade. I was very disappointed.
Yeah?
First thing I'm getting, as soon as I saw I did get it, is I'm going to get chemistry. So I can get a stronger unit than pikemen. This was a big mistake by me, not having my army guard my villagers. And I'm going to place this castle on the hill. It's a very safe castle. Right at the center of the map, and on top of the hill. So harder to take out. And there comes my archery ranges. Again, another mismanagement thing I did. Way too much gold and not enough wood to place down these archery ranges. And with hand cannons and pikemen, I should have a good mixed army. And a little bit of siege to help me push. Very close game, only scores are flipping back and forth. This is one of the nice things that he did this game. He definitely expanded out across the entire map to take control of all the resources. And once again, I did the same mistake of not having any army to defend my villagers. Here goes my army. I'm going to split it so I can defend my trebuchet. And here comes my hand cannons. Bombard cannon would also have been a good addition. And this is where switching to pikemen really hurt me as opposed to camels. He's going to go out for a camel raid. These guys are much more beefy since they're Indian camels with extra armor. And it takes forever for my pikemen to get back to my base to defend. And there you go, 5 pierce armor. One of the things you could do to help minimize raiding is build castles in your base. So that was my plan. And as you can see, the pikemen can't catch into the camels at all. In fact, they're even getting stuck. Castle's not going up. And it's looking pretty abysmal for me. I am pushing, however, with this mixed army. There's nothing he could do to counter this army at this point. And I put a castle on top of the goal to establish map control. But at my own base, it's a complete mess. And I have accidentally rally pointed my pikemen to the ford. Basically where they don't need to be. Castle hasn't gone up. The town centers aren't nearly as strong against the camels as I thought. The Indians' camels are just so beefy. The pikemen's just not cutting it. If this was Halb's, could have been a completely different story. But you have to know your civilization. Here comes some light cavalry. One thing you want to do is protect your hand cannons at all costs. They are a very expensive unit. And this raid is the thing that ends up killing me, I think, in the end. He's starting to whittle away my army just a little bit. And he's got a bunch of archer ranges of his own. So he's gonna go into hand cannons of his own. The later and later this game drags out, the more advantage he should have because he can upgrade to Imperial Camel, and his hand cannons with his unique technology will be stronger than my hand cannons. Not to mention I'm using a Castle Age unit in the pikemen. And with that raid, I can't really rebuild my army. He's gonna take down my trebuchets. I'm trying the best I can to try to rebuild my economy. It's really hurting at this point. And once again, just stockpiled way too much gold for whatever units I was making. Here comes another group of pikemen to try to defend. He's now got his hand cannons out. His army's orders of magnitude stronger than my army. Hand cannons and heavy camels. He's starting to regroup, build out his population. And here he goes for another raid. Score is still pretty close at this point. But as I rebuild my economy and he focuses on building military, that will change. And here comes this force of light cavalry to raid. Since I've been focusing on rebuilding my economy, I haven't had very much army to defend. I haven't built very much army. And there's Hussar, a much more effective raiding unit than camels. Coming out with 3 groups of Hussar. And as you can see, you get just streams of units across the map. The hand cannons, those are going to be way too hard to defend. What he could do to hasten his push is maybe add some siege ram. Finally, I've teched the heavy camel. A little bit too late for me, though. That would have helped to eat out some of my gold as well. And I'm going to call it GG as soon as I see those hand cannoneers. I have nothing to defend against those. So biggest mistake this game was going into pikemen, most likely. Not focusing on taking away this gold. And not bringing my pikemen back to defend as well. So I hope you learned something from this recorded game. I certainly did. And I'll try not to make these mistakes in the future. So hopefully I'll see you in the next recorded game analysis.